My name is Reccia Joe, and this is Rebecca Hubbard, and we are the co-owners of Pecan Creek Ranch Equine Assisted Psychotherapy and Learning. And we're going to talk today about our new course that we have coming out. That's an online kind of experiential hybrid course called Exploring Relationships with Horses.
Yes.
So this is just kind of a little Q&A session, just something to give you a little bit more information. If you're curious about it, if you have looked into it, but you're like, oh, I'm not sure if it's for me or not, hopefully this will help you make that choice become a little bit clearer. And of course, our cat has decided to get on, knock over our light, even though he's not supposed to be on the desk. He's such a stinker. All right, so we're gonna just kind of jump into it here, and we're gonna go over like some questions that people have come up with that they have had about this course. And we're gonna go over a couple now, and then we have someone on here who has some questions, and we'll talk to her. And okay, so let's start with, do I have to have a horse to be able to do this course? Do you have to have a horse? Or let's say you have limited access to a horse, that you can only hang out with a horse like once every other week, maybe not every week, maybe once a month.
You keep going off the chair.
Cat is really making things, this is a big distraction right now. Okay, so you do not have to own a horse. It's probably going to be the most beneficial to you if you do have access to a horse at least part of the time. However, the way that we have designed it, it's really focused mostly on you and understanding where you're coming from and your values and kind of what you believe about horses and relationships, and about what you want actually out of your time and your relationship with your horse. So even if you don't have a horse yet, this could be really beneficial to you, that when you do have more access to horses, or you do come into ownership of a horse, you'll already have some of this figured out for yourself. So you kind of be starting off on a good foot.
Well, and also the activities we have in the course that have you work with your horse, you could do in an imaginal way. So you could already start thinking about how you would want to do that if you had a horse. You could just imagine having one. That's not the ideal way to practice this, but it still could be highly beneficial.
Yeah. There's some research out there that says sometimes your brain doesn't know the difference between you doing something and thinking something. So this is why visualization can be a really powerful tool when we're trying to learn and grow. Yeah. Let's see. Do I have to be able to ride? It's a great question. So you do not have to be able to ride this course. We don't include any riding in the activities. And you don't even have to, you can have different beliefs about riding. There's some people who believe that riding can be good for both the horse and for the human. And there's some people who believe we should never, ever ride horses. And both of those different belief systems are welcome in this course, because it's not about teaching you different techniques or teaching you what you should or should not be doing with your horses. It's about helping you really come to a deeper understanding of what is the best for you in your situation with your horse.
Yeah, because oftentimes in the horse world, we're told what we should be doing with horses. I was consulting with someone today who said, you know, my trainers tells me to do this thing that I don't agree with, and yet I feel like if I don't do it, I get belittled and put down. And considered less than as a person because I'm not doing it their way. And this course is designed to help you explore your own values around how you want to be in relationship with your horse, and whether or not having a trainer like that really fits you and your goals and your values on how you want to have your relationship.
So I'm going to stop right there with those two. And I wanted to check in with Jackie, who is on here with us. Jackie, what question did you have for us?
I actually have two. The first one is, can you kind of explain like what the, kind of give us a preview into what this is going to look like? And then my second question is, if I remember right, there's different price points, right? Or different tiers and how
Yeah.
to do it, like how you can sign up with different levels too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you hear me?
We
Yes.
did. Thank you, Jackie. Yes. Thank you so much. Okay. So we do have, I'm going to go ahead and share this screen. There's no sound. There's no video. There we go. So this is our website where we have some more information about this event, and I'm pulling it up for my own reference, not saying, oh, just go look at this and that answers your question. We'll expand on this as I kind of show you. So what this is going to look like is that we're going to meet once a week here on Zoom. It's a 90-minute session. And the first 30 minutes of that is going to be time for us to kind of connect with each other and process about our experience, build community, support each other in the different explorations that we're all going to be doing with our individual horses and within ourselves. So this is kind of like the support group kind of part of it, where we're coming into community with each other and in a non-judgmental space that's meant to just support you and connect with you so that you can feel safe to be able to try some of this stuff and to dig a little bit into what do you really value and what do you want in your life with your horse. And then the second part is going to be about an hour of some more kind of educational content. And then outlining some experiential things that activities that you can do, explorations that you can conduct on your own time in your own space, and then some Q&A afterwards. Mm-hmm. So for example, like one of the first things that we're going to talk about in this course is the different types of relationships that are possible just in general. Between humans and humans, but really also between humans and horses. They're very similar. So there's different roles we can fulfill in relationships, which then also gives us different responsibilities. And just kind of understanding what those roles are, what the pros and cons of having that kind of relationship are, what the outcomes might be from those kinds of relationships, so that you can just kind of have, because a lot of times when we're thinking about training our horses or being around our horses, we're not thinking about what kind of relationship we have with our horse or the kind of relationship we want to have. And a lot of different training techniques or philosophies or theories don't really go into a lot of that. And so then sometimes we're doing a lot of training techniques that don't align with the kind of relationship we would like to have or the way that we would actually like to show up for our horses.
Right. Or the ways we want our horses to show up in relationship with us. And so we really want to explore what's the relationship you have currently? What are the pros and cons of that? How is that impacting you? How is it impacting your horse? How is it impacting the relationship? And then if you were to explore changing it, what would you maybe want to change it to? again, we're not going to prescribe what you change it to. This is all about your own exploration and discovering what's best for you in your relationship with your horse, instead of us telling you how you should be in relationship with your horse.
Yeah, so that'll be like the first session. And then we'll have an activity or an exploration for you have a week to go and explore something with your horse that relates to this understanding of relationship dynamics. And then when we come back in the next week, week 2, then we're going to process and talk with each other and connect with each other about what that experience was like, what kind of insights we gained, or questions that we have, or things that we want to share, or concerns that we have about about the topic of relationship dynamics. And then we'll move into the next session, which is going to be about self-awareness and values, and being aware of your values and how those align or don't align with what you're doing with your horse, or what you want to do with your horse, so that you can make those choices. So that's kind of how it will go. And then we're going to talk about emotional awareness, how that affects your emotional awareness and your emotional being, how it impacts your relationship with your horse and your horse. Different paradigm shifts that can happen in our interactions with our horses,
and ones we can consider, right? Because we have a lot of traditional horsemanship. The way I grew up was I was supposed to be the boss of that horse, and that horse wasn't supposed to do anything without me. That's one way or belief around relationship dynamics with horses. And then there are others, and we're going to kind of explore some of those other possible paradigm shifts. What would happen if we tried one of them on? What might happen to us? What might happen to the horse? What might happen in our relationship with that? It's really all about being very intentional, like really starting to pull apart what's really happening currently for you, and really getting clear about what you really want. That's really, I think, the essence of this course.
Yeah, definitely. So that then you can then incorporate whatever kind of training techniques or philosophies or approaches that fit for you and your horse, and the kind of relationship that you both need to have with each other. We're going to talk about understanding vulnerability and fear from both the human perspective and the horse perspective, and how that can impact our relationships. Understanding how we address safety, what safety looks like, different considerations of safety besides just physical safety. So we're going to talk about emotional safety, social safety, and all of that stuff, and how it relates to our interactions with our horses.
We're going to also look at the other side of that, which we often don't look at, which is how safe does the horse feel in this relationship, and what dynamics play into that. Because often when we're talking about safety, we're talking about our safety. We're not really thinking about their safety and what they may be experiencing on the other side of that relationship.
Yeah, and then we're going to talk about listening. Active listening between you and your horse. You listening to them and them listening to you. Sometimes we can have a really one-sided view of that. Either I'm listening to my horse all the time, they're not really listening to me, or I'm expecting them to listen to me all the time, but I'm not really listening and communicating well with them. So this is a chance to deepen your awareness of different nonverbal cues, physical cues, things that tell us what horses are feeling and thinking as best as we could estimate, right? And what they need and what you need, and how you can best communicate with them.
Yeah, and how you can start asking questions of your horse. So a lot of people don't even know how to ask them things, so they don't even really know how to hear what the response might be. We're so great at telling them what to do, but we're not really great at asking questions. And so that's something we'll kind of explore, what will happen if we started to shift to doing that versus just telling and demanding.
And then all this kind of culminates in this last session, which is about reflecting on how we're shaping the relationship with our horse, and how that might impact different approaches we take, different ways that we want to care for them, any changes we would like to make or adjustments. And maybe there's not any. Maybe it's just about clarifying and solidifying your values and your position and understanding what aligns with and what does not align with your values and your desires for your relationship with your horse and your horse's needs as well.
Yeah.
So that kind of goes over more. We have a couple of different levels. So there's $50, the ticket for the tourist. It's just, you'll just get 8 weekly emails that will have kind of a brief a synopsis of the lesson. It's not going to have all the details of the lesson that we're going to go over, kind of the educational piece of our weekly groups, but it will have enough that you can then take an activity. Will also include an activity that you can go and do with your horse on your own.
There's no check-in or anything like that. It's just information.
Yeah. So that might be for you if like, you just kind of want to give it a try, but you don't really want to engage too much with others. You just kind of want to, kind of get a flavor of it and do your own thing. And then the next level is Scout. And this is where you get access to the 8 weekly 90-minute virtual groups and their recording. So we will record each group, except we'll only record the last 60 minutes.
Right.
That way, the first 30 minutes of the processing time can just remain private among the people who are actually in that group. So if you are late to that, or like there's some sessions that you'll have to miss, that's okay. You will have access to those recordings. You'll just unfortunately miss the like community group processing part of that. So you'll get that. And then of course we'll send email reminders out every week, that just so that you have that. And so this is really good for you if you're like, okay, I don't need a whole lot of extra support, but I actually really would like the community. And I do want to have that like once a week kind of check-in and accountability as I'm learning and growing about this with my horse. And then the next one is Explorer. So this is going to include everything that's in Scout. Plus, we're going to have a private Facebook group where we can go in and further discuss. We'll have extra posts in there with some extra content to help support your learning, including some PDF handouts, maybe some assessment tools that you can use and check out, blogs to read, different resources for you to go to kind of add to your learning, add to your explorations.
You can also just post and get support from each other there. You can post videos of things that you're doing with your horses. Reccia and I may post something that we're doing with our horses, just so we can all explore together what's possible. That's really what we're trying to really figure out, is what's really possible in relationship with horses.
Yeah. So this is a good one for you if you want to go a little bit deeper, you want a little bit extra support, you want a little bit more active engagement. Explorer might be the ticket for you. And then the next one we have is Pioneer. And so that's going to include everything that's in Scout, everything that's in Explorer, plus 4 50-minute individual consultation calls to further support you and guide you. So this will be, and will something you'll schedule with me or Rebecca, or both if it works out on our schedules. We'll see. So you have this one-on-one experience. So let's say, for example, you're doing some of this with your horse, and like you're having some really pretty deep, heavy questions that are coming up that we don't have enough time to really support you in the 30-minute processing time of the group call. And like, it doesn't feel like it's the appropriate place to really talk about it. in the Facebook group, or it's not going to give you a good enough level of understanding, like you want some more one-on-one deeper support, then these 4 individual consultation calls are going to help you to really explore at a deeper level and get some really excellent support.
Yeah. I mean, you could even video you doing this activity with your horse, one of the ones that we give you to do, and then come and process it with us. If some things came up or you were confused about, I really have a value about this, but I have no idea how to apply it. How would I do that? Or how would I work through that? That's what those kinds of meetings would really help you with.
Yeah, it's also a really good place to ask about, like, hey, I've discovered that this is the kind of relationship I have, and this is the training technique I'm using. Is this conducive? How can I make it more conducive to the kind of relationship I want to have with my horse? It doesn't feel like it's really conducive to that. How can I adjust that? How can I change my approach? This is a good place for you to ask those kinds of questions so that we can help you with that. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a good synopsis of what the course. Jackie, does that answer your question? Does it bring up more questions?
No, it answered all of my questions. That was great. I didn't realize the see more. I didn't see that button when I looked before. So I saw that whenever, because I got home and I'm on my computer. So I was following along with you. I do have another question though.
Okay.
It says it's from 5:30 to 7, right?
Yeah.
Central or Eastern time?
Central.
Thank you.
Okay. Because that makes a big difference for us Eastern people.
Yes, it does. Thank you for, I need to put that
So
on
it
there.
would be, for y'all, it'd be 6:30, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
6:30 to 8, which actually is better for me because then I could actually make it if it was 5:30 Eastern time. There's no way I would make that.
Got it. Got it.
Good to know. All right. Thanks, Jackie. Appreciate you.
No
Okay.
problem.
So here's a couple other questions we can answer real quick that people have had. What is there an age limit to this course? So on the
limit our age starting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
starting
yeah.
age.
Yeah.
Like, could teens or kids join this group? Like, let's say you had I don't know, a group of 4-H kids or something,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Would this be a good thing for them to explore? Yes, possibly. Although we will say in some of the content, they might need some help from the adults to understand some of the language. Like they may need some help looking up some definitions and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But teens, kids are welcome to explore this. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
If I had been able to do this when I was a kid,
Right.
it could have changed a lot of things.
Yeah. And if we got enough kids, we could make a separate group if we needed to. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I think it'd be great for kids and teens to really start to explore a relationship with their horse if they're interested.
Yeah. And then, so what if I can't join live or I have to miss part of it? Like I said, they'll be recorded. And as long as you have, if you have a ticket and you are able to join the live sessions, then you will have access to those recordings, and you'll be able to just keep them. So you can watch them again if you need to, or if you want to. The only part that won't be recorded is the first 30 minutes. We want to kind of allow that to be a private space for who shows up in the group. We went over the differences between levels, one-on-one consultations. Oh, here's one. Will this fit with fill in the blank kind of horse training? So because this is a course that is designed to help you just really explore for yourself what you want in your relationship with your horse, how you want to be, how you want your horse to be, what your and your horse's needs and desires are. We're not giving you instructions on how to train your horse. you're really going to be the one to decide at the end of the course or throughout the course how it fits with the different kinds of horse training techniques that you like to use. And maybe throughout it, you might decide, maybe I don't want to use this kind of technique. And maybe I want to learn some different ones that will be more aligned with my values and what I want from this relationship. Or maybe it will solidify and help you really get better at employing some of the techniques because you will feel like it's congruent and really aligned with your values.
And maybe really start to understand the values, because each training kind of belief system has its own values and its own way of understanding horses and humans and their relationship. And really starting to understand that will really help you to solidify, yeah, that works for me. That's really aligning with me. And really understanding that would probably help you know that.
Yeah, it can give you more confidence, or it can help you find something that does align better with what you want and desire. And what kind of experience do I need to have with horses? You do not have to have, you can have zero experience with horses. Now, if you do have zero experience with horses and some of these activities, then we'll just want to know that. We'll go through all of that in our first session so that we can help give you some guidance on like what to look out for and how to be safe and stuff like that around horses. But really, it can be, if you have zero experience, if you're like Olympic equestrian level, this can be really good for all different experience levels. Okay. What if, this is an outlandish question that Rebecca came up with, but I'm going to answer it anyway. What if I don't want to do this with the horse? What if I want to do it with my dog? The great thing about this is that because you're exploring all of these different facets of values and the kind of relationship that you want to have, this can apply really to a lot of different kinds of relationships in your life. So if you have a cat or a dog or a llama or a parakeet,
A goat?
a goat. Yes.
Jackie and our goat people.
Yes, we have a goat. We ask ourselves these kinds of questions and do these explorations with her all the time.
Yeah.
So it really can apply to a lot of different kinds of relationships. And if you want to try that out and explore that, then we would love to have you.
Yes. Yeah. We decided to limit it at, and when we were talking about it with horses, because that's what we get asked the most about, is to help people with their relationships with their horses. We don't usually have people call us for relationship advice with goats, though maybe in the future, because we're getting pretty good at it.
With one goat, we only have one. We need more before we could claim that, I think.
This is true.
Yeah. All right. Trying to think. I can't think of anything else.
Is there anything else, Jackie, that you can think of that's coming up for you?
No, you guys have answered my questions. I appreciate it. It definitely clears a lot of things up for me.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thanks, Jackie.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so if anybody's out there and they're part of a barn community, feel free to share this information. The more people that join, the merrier, because we get to really hear and learn from each other, you know? And sometimes it takes a larger group of people to find your people.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're in a barn community and you're having trouble finding like that connection and belonging that you're kind of looking for in that community, this might be a good place to help you connect with other people who want to do that as well. And also it can help you take it to your barn and figure out how you can kind of create that at where you are or find it somewhere.
Yeah.
In your geographical region. And grow maybe a community outside your geographical region. All right. Well, thanks, Jackie, for coming,
Thank you.
asking your questions. And we are gonna post this for anyone else who's watching, who's watched this after we did it live. Then please, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments of wherever you see this posted, and let us know, and we will do our best to answer them for you.
Yep. And if you're more of a, hey, I want to talk to you on the phone, our phone number is on our Facebook page. So just give us a holler. We'd love to talk to you.
Absolutely. Thanks, y'all. And we hope to see you in the group. Can't wait to see you, actually.
Jackie, hope to see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.